absolutely not. It's typical Kremlin spinning, creating a false narrative. Look, it's too early to say what exactly happened here, but I tend to lean on the side of analysts who say that this was a Russian-generated false flag operation. We don't know exactly why they would do that, but one reason might be is to stoke up Russian public opinion and also lay more fertile ground for more mobilization of Russians. But the other theory, Bev, actually sends a chill down my back. And a very likelihood here is that Russia, and Mr. Putin, who feel very, very backed into a corner, are creating the conditions for a direct strike on a major Ukrainian government installation. We don't know what that might be, perhaps the office of the president, but this is the way they operate. And I can tell you, anxieties are very high here at the moment. For example, in Kiev, employees of the parliament have been told to work from home for the next couple of days. So that indicates to you how tense things here are right now.
Yeah, because as you say, the Kremlin, Russia is under a lot of pressure. They're launching massive drone strikes right across Ukraine, even in Odessa where you are, but it's not really necessarily advancing their case, their cause and their aims in Ukraine.
No, it isn't. I mean, it was a very violent night last night. In all of my time here in Odessa, Bev, I have not seen such a violent barrage of drones. Actually, right outside my window here at 4 o'clock in the morning, they managed to shoot down about 12 or 15 of the drones, but reportedly a dormitory of an educational institution was struck here. It's also, I think, psychological warfare. I just got back from walking around today, and you can see on people's faces the fatigue, the tiredness, the anxiety. Friends of mine in Kiev say they haven't slept for 2 or 3 nights because this is happening on a recurrent basis. And as this is happening too, the Ukrainians are expending a lot of firepower, much of it expensive to target these drones. So no military advance to speak of. But one more quick thing, as you know, where I'm sitting right now, it's the anchor of that grain initiative, which was signed by Russia, Ukraine, the UN, and Turkey. Why is Russia striking at a key infrastructure facility here or nearby it when their signature is on that very document that allows that port to keep functioning?
Yeah, and I think that question is often answered by the many agreements that Russia signs up to and then doesn't honour. What is your sense of when Ukraine is going to sort of start the spring offensive that everybody has been waiting for, in the hope that it could somehow, you know, make some advances and change this direction of this war?
Yeah, well, a lot of pressure on the Zelenskyy administration to go forward, I believe. They, of course, have to show that all of this military aid that has come in, all the training, all the planning, is going to make an impact. I just think they're waiting for the right time. They're keeping their cards very close to their chest. But at the same time, Bev, in order to do this type of counteroffensive, they need the ability to further close their skies, and they need to get everything they asked for. And from Australia, I can tell you that the Ukrainians feel they require more from Canberra in terms of the Bushmasters, in terms of the mobile fighting vehicles, and for Australia to join the main battle tank coalition. If my country, Canada, can supply tanks to Ukraine, and we have, believe me, a very depleted military, I think Australia could too.
Yeah. You know, you talked about President Zelenskyy saying, you know, that there wasn't this attack on the Kremlin, that they are not looking at military targets in Russia, but they are demonstrating that they can hit Russian targets with some of the oil depots that they've struck.
Yeah.
How much of a signal is that to Russia that they are, you know, they're quite strategic in the way they are operating?
Yeah, I mean, these strikes have been very impressive in terms of hampering Russia's ability to resupply. It's striking right at the heart of the supply chain. And actually, I think Ukraine would also like more range on the U.S.-supplied missiles to strike legitimate military targets within Russia. We're talking about those targets which are sending the missiles over here to places like Odessa, Kiev, and elsewhere. Just yesterday in Kherson, 21 people were killed and 40 plus injured in a barrage of Russian strikes. So, it is not, as one retired U.S. general said, fighting terrorism with terrorism. It was Ukraine who was attacked. It was unprovoked. So Ukraine has the right to strike back. So the West, I think, should give them that capability.
Indeed. Zelenskyy today at The Hague calling for a war crimes tribunal. Sadly, this is not likely to in any way meaningfully impact Russia, even if it was set up.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're in a situation now, we're not in a good place as humanity, I would say, when we have such a big aggressor as Russia, and it looks like in some ways or another supported by China, just flouting the rules of the international based system. They will not give up suspects to The Hague. Indeed, we saw that with the MH17 trial. And we don't expect them to give up suspects here. But, having said all that, they do tend to be careless. We've received reports of senior Russian officials partying and skiing in French ski resorts. President Putin may be going to South Africa later this year for that major conference. South Africa is a signatory to the ICC. They should prove who they are, what they're worth, that they subscribe to our values as well. Not Mr. Putin, and send him to The Hague.
Yeah. Michael, stay safe, please. It's really good to talk to you, but as you say, very trying and exhausting times. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.